What's going on, ladies and germs? It's the Crypto Crow. It is Friday, and thank goodness it is Friday. It's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will push this video out whenever I can get it done because there's a lot in it. I do have some paid promotions later in the video for some new DeFi applications, but I have some news to go over first because there's some really interesting and even kind of weird stuff going on. But first, I want to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin's price has been starting to accumulate, and I think that we're probably going to be okay. It's dropped down, obviously, from a recent high above 13,000, and it's dropping a little. But this is a 15-minute chart. And I've got an article here that actually, I think, kind of coincides with what I'm thinking is happening. Bitcoin must consolidate above this key level or risk plunging to $11,900. I don't really think that's going to be a big concern right now, personally. Bitcoin and the aggregated cryptocurrency market have seen a roller coaster week, with Bitcoin's previous weakness being fully erased by bulls who sent it surging to fresh yearly highs of $13,200. The move's intensity has sparked a sense of euphoria and hope among traders and investors, which may be expecting further upside in the days and weeks ahead. For this to come to fruition, bulls must continue defending against a break below 12,800, or we could see a plunge of another grand. So, but looking at it right now, I mean, we're sitting at 12,925. We got all the way down to 12,716 already. So we bottomed out there, and then we started to recover. If I'm looking at the money flow still hasn't even touched red. This is on a 1 hour chart. If I'm going to look at this on a 4 hour chart, still, I mean, everything looks pretty clean. We've gone up, we've corrected, which is a very small, a minor correction, and we're already starting to kind of transition here and accumulate. And so again, if I'm gonna hazard a guess, I'm going to say it's likely we hit somewhere in the 14,000s next after this. I could be very, very wrong. But just off of the trend and the patterns and everything I've been seeing, it's been pretty much like one bullish pennant after another. I mean, for the most part, we shoot up, we accumulate, we shoot up, we accumulate. We did get a drop here. But that didn't last very long, and then we started to accumulate and then shoot up again. So, if anything, I would have thought that this drop in accumulation pattern here would have been a bearish pennant, that maybe would have gone down from there, but we didn't. We continued moving up. Now, obviously, we had that PayPal news, and I'm not bullish necessarily on the PayPal situation much anyway. I think it's also going to inspire a lot of these banks to adopt cryptocurrency much quicker than they may have originally. So we'll see how that comes about. But ultimately, I'm still very much bullish on the current price action of Bitcoin, and I feel pretty good about it. Anonymous devs behind a DeFi yield farm could steal 1 billion in 12 hours. A lot of trust is required to put money in Harvest Finance. This is scary, and this is kind of what I've been talking about. I like DeFi, but I'm still very, very weary of some of it. Harvest Finance, a decentralized finance project that succeeded in attracting over $1 billion in funds locked, has an admin key that gives its holders the ability to mint tokens at will and steal users' funds. A note by auditing companies PeckShield and Haichi, and highlighted by Chris Black, a DeFi community member, the governance parameters are not set by a contract with clearly defined rules. An admin key, presumably held by the anonymous developers behind the project, could be used to arbitrarily mint new farm tokens. This power could allow the governance key holders to create an unlimited number of tokens and drain funds in the token's Uniswap pool, which currently holds $12 million in USD coin. Harvest Finance is an automated yield management system featuring vault-based strategies similar to Yearn.Finance. Haichi highlighted, I sound like I sneezed, but I didn't. Hayachi highlighted that in addition to the minting mechanics, the governance key holder has the ability to change the vault functionality at will, which could be exploited by submitting a bogus strategy that simply sends the funds to an attacker-controlled address. This is the kind of stuff that freaks me out. The project is currently running a classical yield farm similar to many of the food coins. Users can commit Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, and other assets, but the highest farm yield can be found by submitting farm tokens themselves without necessarily requiring the additional layer of abstraction of Uniswap pool tokens. Such a circular dependency is a characteristic of many crypto Ponzi schemes. The team is completely anonymous, though the project succeeded in attracting a relatively sizable community that has been involved in the community by doling out grants. While nothing would suggest malicious intentions for now, the project is strongly centralized, and prospective farmers should be aware that they are trusting an anonymous group of developers to resist the temptation to run off with their money. Similarly to how the community initially trusted SushiSwap's founder. So I'm not even familiar with Harvest Finance, but I thought that was probably a relevant issue to some. Now this really I'm like, what? Breaking. Ripple's board member gets arrested. What? American journalist and political consultant Ken Kurson has been taken into federal custody after being charged with cyber stalking 3 individuals. The FBI alleges that Kurson, who's best known as former editor-in-chief of The Observer, was bombarding a friend with threatening messages for allegedly ruining his marriage. He reportedly gained access to the social media accounts of his targets and even went as far as installing a keystroke logger on a computer that belonged to one of them. Kurson's lawyer, Mark McKaysey, claims that the defendant's conduct doesn't warrant federal criminal prosecution. Ken Kurson is an honorable man, a loving dad, and a gifted writer. The conduct alleged is hardly worthy of federal criminal prosecution. He will get past it. And Band Protocol's kind of in the news a little bit. Nice little article. Band Protocol to begin recouping losses from massive 72% downslide. I've actually felt this downslide myself because I've been bot trading it and I've been like negative 40% on that trade for a long time. Just waiting for my DCA to get into my Crow Trader so that I can start DCAing. Band Protocol's price action is contained between $5.50 and $7.30. A spike in demand for Band that allows it to move past resistance could see it rise to $10. Meanwhile, if the underlying support fails to hold, prices could drop to $3. So Band Protocol continues consolidating within a narrow trading range, but multiple indexes suggest that a breakout is imminent. And then the article kind of goes on to discuss a lot of like the correction and you know the price action of late. My hope is that it turns around because I really want to be able to exit my trade at profit sooner than later because I've been kind of caught in this trade for a little while. But you know, look, I've been seeing a lot of companies that are basically going and partnering with Band Protocol instead of Chainlink. And I don't know all the reasons why. I don't know if it's more of a technical reason, a financial reason, or what. But I know that Band is picking up on adoption. And so I think long term, I'm not too worried about Band's overall price. I think it's probably going to recover at some point. I'll get out of my bot trade and all will be well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into some more DeFi stuff. Now, look, before I get too deep into this, I've been getting some comments kind of like, Crow, you've been talking about how you don't like DeFi all this time, and now you're doing these paid promotions for DeFi projects. And, look, I don't hate DeFi. I actually quite like the idea of DeFi, which is one of the reasons why I finally got into one, and it's been doing extremely well, and I've been having a lot of fun checking it all the time like a crazy person. I do not feel that all these DeFi applications are 100% safe. And a part of my hang up in DeFi is the decentralized finance nature of not knowing who the teams are behind them. So anybody can basically anonymously throw out a DeFi application and start having people stake and do all this stuff. And there's not always any clear telling as to like what's legit and what isn't. I think it's even more difficult in a lot of sense than ICOs, because like ICOs, there was a big boom, but you had teams, you had people that were out up front and center basically saying, this is my project, this is who we are. The DeFi applications are not that way. It's a totally different beast altogether, and it's one that I have been inching into slowly over time. But I love the idea of DeFi, and I think it's making a lot of people money. And there are a lot of new DeFi applications coming up all the time, and I'm more than happy to present them. I'm not necessarily saying these are all great and you need to jump into all of these DeFi applications just because I'm talking about them. But I will say that, a lot of these DeFi apps, I don't know what else to say other than they're doing quite well and people seem to be doing well on them. That's my stance on it. I like DeFi. I'm cool with DeFi. I'm not necessarily cool with how anonymous everybody can be launching these apps in a time when everybody's cash grabbing for yields, and that does scare me a little bit. Who can you trust? So I'm inching into it more and more all the time, and the more I learn, the more comfortable I'm getting. But like everything else, that which people do not understand, they fear. And so I'm learning more and more on a regular basis so that the fear is going away and I'm more getting excited about some of this stuff. So anyway, I'm talking now about JustLiquidity. Basically, it's a decentralized smart contract that has been audited by Hacken, which, I mean, that is a pretty big statement because Hacken's a pretty big auditor. Now, liquidity protocol version 2 process. Provide liquidity with BNB token, BUSD, or Ethereum B. Earn interest. Receive interest at all 24 hours, up to 0.4% in your deposited currency. Remove liquidity after a 24-hour lockup if you so chose, and receive Jewel B. Jewel B will be bought and deposited into your wallet. And then there's a chart here. This is actually a pretty well done PDF. How do we generate the daily interest? So John adds liquidity of 100 BNB tokens. JustLiquidity protocol pairs John's 100 BNB with 100 Jewel B from the JustLiquidity reserve. All of that is basically added together into this smart contract. Other users trade BNB for Jewel B, resulting to increase in Jewel B price, increase in BNB quantity, and decrease in Jewel B quantity. So 150 BNB, 50 Jewel B, liquidity pool after trading. John's deposit represents 150 BNB tokens and 50 Jewel B. John can now easily be paid up to 0.4% interest for that day because our earnings are much more than 0.4% in the interest. Okay, so how do we pay the interest up to 4.4% per day? We use the Uniswap pool liquidity fee. Should the liquidity fee be not enough, we will automatically sell trading pair tokens to cover the fees and the payouts. Decentralized liquidity token sale, and then more liquidity results in more trades, more liquidity fee, higher project token value, and we will share these with you as JustLiquidity user. Now, one of the notes that I have is our project is based on the Binance smart contract, or the Binance smart chain, and on the Ethereum smart chain. We built a token bridge where we can use Jewel and Ethereum and Jewel B on BEP20 with the same total supply. 1 Jewel equals 1 Jewel B. So that was kind of a side note. Jewel ERC20 and Jewel B BEP20. All these coin names. There's so every project's got like 100 different tokens you got to keep track of. Not really. It's not that bad, but Jewel and Jewel B are not just tokens. They are self-regulated digital instruments. JustLiquidity solved the biggest issue for their Jewel and Jewel B tokens at first, which is to get enough liquidity and volume behind the token. Now we needed to take care of the demand from Jewel and Jewel B, and for this we decided to burn tokens and also buy back tokens from our fee earnings. So as they're generating profit, I guess, by being this liquidity pool, they're actually using some of that to buy back tokens from other people so that they can burn them, lowering the supply and ultimately helping their tokenomics. Buybacks, we buy back JustLiquidity tokens using 90% from our earned fees. Burn, 50% from our JustLiquidity buybacks will be burned. Distribute, 50% will be distributed to our community as rewards. So that's pretty interesting. There's a sample there for the buybacks. There's another one for the token burn. I think honestly, I feel like a lot of these, to some degree, a lot of these platforms are really about what's most secure, and because a lot of these DeFi smart contracts, while they all kind of seem to do a similar type of thing, and a lot of them seem to result in who can get the most exposure, who can attract the most users, which is one of the reasons why I think so many of these projects are doing so many paid promotions, because they know that the more eyes they get on the projects, the better everybody does. And so it's just kind of one of those things. I mean, this all looks pretty interesting though, and you can definitely get more information online. It's JustLiquidity. So this ultimately is just one new DeFi platform, and there are many others coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another paid promotion for Yield.Global. Now, their newest platform here is Yield Claims, ever-growing APY and higher rewards for stakers. The one-time experiment of Yield.Claim. Yield.Global is an innovative DeFi solution designed to reach new heights of APY in yield farming. The protocol is secured from speculations and tailored to greatly reward the early stakers. This is achieved through the stake lockup period, after which both unstake and claim reward functions will be unlocked for all participants. This strategy is relatively simple, but brings exponential price growth, adds sustainability to the pools, and reduces speculation. Connect your wallet. So if we go to the medium here, it's a financial ecosystem to bring back financial services and make them more accessible to everyone. Earlier, we have introduced our yield farming platform, Yield Claims, which is where we just were, an experimental project aiming for ever-growing APY. Staking and unstaking on Yield Claims, a guide. So this is going to explain pretty much the process, like if you're interested in using Yield.Claims. Number one, go to Yield.Claim's website. Number two, click on the Connect Wallet button at the top right corner or at the bottom of the page to connect your MetaMask. Once done, enter the amount of Ethereum you want to add to the liquidity pool in the stake field. All you need for staking is Ethereum, no other tokens. Now that I honestly like, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these platforms, man, they've got like 10 different tokens that you got to keep track of, and you're switching to this and that. That's where it loses me. That's where it loses me. I'm so anyway, so you stake the amount of Ethereum that you want and confirm the transaction in your MetaMask wallet. So far, it sounds like the wrapped Bitcoin dealio. So to process any transaction on the Ethereum blockchain, a fee called gas is charged. The amount is displayed in your MetaMask wallet. Congratulations. Once the liquidity is added, you will be earning yield tokens. There's a 14-day time lock period. This means that you will be able to claim the reward only after the time lock finishes. The time lock is equal for everyone. So this is honestly one that I could see maybe trying. Just being honest, I dig this kind of thing. I like it. I like things to be simple. I don't mind throwing a little Ethereum in something and staking it and testing the yield and all that. To process any, okay. How do I unstake on Yield Claims? Yield.Claims. The ability to unstake and claim rewards is secured by a time lock that ends at the same time for every user. It is set to 14 days after the staking has been enabled, and you can see how much time you have left before you can withdraw in your rewards in a special timer on the website. To unstake and claim the rewards, navigate to total unclaimed yield, enter the number of tokens, and click on the button, claim staking rewards. Then confirm the action in your MetaMask wallet. Pretty simple. You can also share the referral link with other users. With each person you encourage to participate through the referral link, you will earn 5% of their reward. All right. So, and then there's a bunch of links there for everything, for their social media, their Twitter and their Telegram and so forth. So it looks like they're also working on they're issuing a governance token, and that token is going to be used through it's going to be issued through an innovative liquidity farm, but it doesn't explain exactly what just yet. Okay, and there is a note that this is blocked from USA. So for whatever reason, Yield.Global or Yield.Claims blocks United States stakers or investors. That's actually the first I've seen something like that. I wonder why. Okay, and there you go. So if I try to go directly to their website and I'm from the US, that's what I see. We are not live yet in your country. Please come back later. So if you're from the US, they don't necessarily want you. So that's actually kind of a good sign, but I'm curious as to what the legalities are to that and why they would block US people. So that's a question. If you have any answers on that, let me know in the comments. But there you go. If you're outside of the US and you want to do some more reading on Yield.Claims, there you go. And I will see you guys soon. Grow your coins.